The A-10 Warthog has earned its reputation as one of the most durable and powerful aircraft in the world. Renowned for its agility and firepower, this iconic aircraft has not only stood the test of time, but has also evolved to become even more lethal. With its latest upgrades, the Warthog is more formidable than ever, sending shivers down the spine of any adversary that dares cross its path. But what makes this aircraft truly formidable? What impact would this upgrade have on the Russia-Ukraine war? Join us as we unveil the superior capabilities of the anti-gravity A-10 Warthog that the USAF is currently testing in Jerusalem. The A-10 Warthog is the tough war machine that refuses to fade away. In a recent Air Force statement, the Warthog showcased their might in a live surface combat air patrol, practicing joint fires against surface threats to sharpen tactical skills. This is a move for the Warthog, which isn't usually seen in maritime operations. Yet the tank-destroying, formidable fighter has earned a legendary status in the aviation world, repeatedly defying attempts to retire it from service. This aircraft has made a name for itself, having destroyed thousands of tanks, other armored vehicles, and artillery systems. Stating that the A-10 Thunderbolt has no equal is definitely not an exaggeration. It is the very first U.S. Air Force aircraft specifically designed for close air support of ground troops on the battlefield. The development of this aircraft began after the Second World War. During this period, the U.S. stopped the development of conventionally armed attack aircraft, focusing instead on fast jets like the McDonnell F-101 Voodoo and Republic F-105 Thunderchief that could carry nuclear weapons. However, the scene changed when the Vietnam War began. The main ground attack aircraft was the older, propeller-driven Douglas A-1 Sky Raider, which, although capable of carrying a lot of weapons and staying in the air for a long time, was slow and vulnerable to enemy fire. During the Vietnam War, 266 A-1s were lost, mostly due to small arms fire, and the plane didn't have enough firepower. This lack of a modern attack aircraft led to calls for a specialized plane, one that could handle modern threats. On June 7, 1961, Defense Secretary Robert McNamara ordered the U.S. Air Force to develop two tactical aircraft, one for long-range strikes and another for fighter-bomber missions. The long-range plane became the General Dynamics F-111 Aardvark, and the fighter-bomber role was filled by the U.S. Navy's McDonnell Douglas F-4 Phantom II. While the Phantom was a successful fighter bomber, it had a short range, wasn't great at low speeds, and was expensive to buy and operate. After reviewing its needs, the U.S. Air Force decided to adopt a low-cost aircraft to support the F-4 and F-111. They initially focused on the Northrop F-5, which could also engage in air-to-air combat. However, a 1965 cost study shifted the focus to the less expensive A-7D variant of the LTV A-7 Corsair II. Unfortunately, this aircraft's cost doubled due to demands for a better engine and new electronics. After World War II, the U.S. paused work on conventional attack aircraft, focusing on fast jets designed to carry nuclear weapons. During the Vietnam War, the U.S. Army started using the Bell UH-1 Iroquois helicopter, which was quickly adapted into a gunship role, proving effective against lightly armed enemies. This led to the introduction of the Bell AH-1 Cobra, an attack helicopter armed with long-range anti-tank missiles, prompting the U.S. military to rethink its European defense strategy, shifting from relying on tactical nuclear weapons to using anti-tank helicopters. However, later on, the U.S. Air Force identified the need for a specialized close air support aircraft, which brought about the development of the AX program. The program aimed to create a simple, cost-effective aircraft dedicated to CAS missions. In 1966, General John P. McConnell ordered the design and development of this new aircraft. By 1970, the U.S. Air Force had issued a detailed request for proposals, emphasizing the need for a plane equipped with a powerful 30mm rotary cannon, capable of operating in harsh conditions, and with a unit cost target of $1.4 million. Two aviation powerhouses, Northrop and Fairchild Republic, were selected to build prototypes of this close air support aircraft. However, Fairchild's YA-10 was eventually chosen for production after several successful trials. The first A-10 aircraft were delivered in 1976, and production continued, peaking at 13 planes per month. The A-10 service life was initially set at 6,000 flight hours, but fatigue testing led to several design reinforcements, eventually extending the target to 8,000 hours. Despite ongoing challenges with wing fatigue, the A-10 proved to be a durable and capable aircraft, with production modifications ensuring its longevity. Throughout its development, the aircraft underwent various upgrades to address structural issues, especially in the wings, where several rounds of testing revealed the need for thicker skins and other reinforcements. Although not all aircraft received these modifications due to cost, the A-10 fleet continued to serve effectively, demonstrating its resilience and adaptability in combat. After the A-10 was introduced, it was seen as an ugly duckling, not just because of its looks, but also because of its limited role, earning it the nickname Warthog. The plane faced criticism, and there was even talk of replacing it with a modified F-16 for ground attacks. However, the A-10's surprising success in the 1991 Gulf War silenced the doubters. During the war, 144 A-10s flew around 8,100 missions, losing only 7 aircraft, averaging 1 loss per 1,350 missions. This was also a proof of the plane's incredible durability. The A-10 destroyed 1,000 Iraqi tanks, 2,000 armored vehicles, and 1,200 artillery pieces. In one mission, a pair of A-10s took out 23 Iraqi tanks and damaged 10 more, an impressive feat never matched before or since. So what makes this attack aircraft so special? The A-10 was practically built around its cannon, and what a cannon it is. The 7-barrel, 30mm GAU-8/A Avenger is a beast, weighing 281 kilograms by itself and 1,830 kilograms with its feeding system and fully loaded drum. The gun is 2,900 millimeters long, with a barrel length of 229 millimeters. To put it in perspective, it's often compared to the size of a Volkswagen Beetle. This monster fires at a rate of 3,900 rounds per minute with impressive accuracy at a range of 1,220 meters. 80% of the shells hit within a circle with a 6.1 meters radius. During operations, it was discovered that gunpowder gases from firing were being drawn into the engines, leading to unburned powder particles building up on the compressor blades. After about 1,000 shots, these particles reduced engine power by 1%. Overall, firing the gun could cut engine power by up to 10%, increasing the risk of engine stalling. To fix this, special ignition devices were added to the engines in 1981 to burn off the unburned powder, solving the problem. The A-10's ammunition includes 1,350 rounds of 30 by 173 millimeter shells with aluminum casings. These include armor-piercing shells with uranium cores and incendiary fragmentation shells, arranged in a pattern of 4 armor-piercing to 1 high-explosive shell. The plane itself has a low-profile design with a trapezoidal wing and twin vertical stabilizers. The fuselage is a simple semi-monocoque structure, mostly made from aluminum alloys that are resistant to defoliants like Agent Orange used in Vietnam. The aircraft is built to survive. The fuselage can hold together even if 2 opposing spars or 2 adjacent skin panels are damaged. The pilot and critical systems are protected by 1.5-inch titanium armor, capable of withstanding hits from a 37mm shell. The armored cockpit, made from titanium plates, can survive a 23mm shell from the Soviet Shilka anti-aircraft gun. The tail fins are designed so that the A-10 Thunderbolt II can keep flying even if one of its vertical stabilizers or part of the horizontal stabilizer is lost. A key feature of the A-10 Thunderbolt II is its 2 General Electric TF34GE100 turbojet engines, each placed in its own pod on either side of the rear fuselage. This setup reduces the plane's radar and heat signature, lowers the chance of debris from the runway getting into the engines, and minimizes the amount of gunpowder gases entering the engines. Each engine generates 412 kilograms per force of thrust, allowing the fully loaded plane, weighing approximately 13,000 kilograms, to reach a speed of 834 kilometers per hour. The maximum takeoff weight of the aircraft is 21,140 kilograms. The A-10 was designed with its powerful JAU-8/A cannon as a focal point. The cannon is mounted slightly to the left, but its barrel aligns with the plane's center. The ammunition drum, almost 6 feet long, can hold up to 1,350 rounds of 30mm shells, though it usually carries about 1,174 rounds. Armor plates between the plane's outer skin and the drum are designed to explode incoming shells to protect the ammunition. The A-10 often carries the AGM-65 Maverick missile, which can be guided by TV or infrared systems and is useful for hitting targets from a greater distance than the cannon, reducing the risk from enemy anti-aircraft systems. During Desert Storm, when night vision equipment was lacking, the Maverick's infrared camera was used as a substitute for night vision. It can also carry cluster bombs and Hydra 70 rocket pods. It is equipped to use GPS and laser-guided bombs, including the GBU-39 small-diameter bomb, paveway bombs, joint direct attack munitions, wind-corrected munitions dispenser, and AGM-154 joint standoff weapon glide bombs. Typically, an A-10 flies with an ALQ-131 electronic countermeasures pod on one wing and two AIM-9 Sidewinder missiles for self-defense on the other wing. In 1986, the A-10A received AIM-9 Sidewinder air-to-air missiles for self-defense. A total of 715 A-10 Thunderbolt IIs were produced, with 707 still in production. The A-10 Thunderbolt II made a brilliant combat debut in Iraq in 1991. It was also used in Operation Deliberate Force in Bosnia and Herzegovina in 1995 and in strikes against the Bosnian Serbs. Despite operating under suppressed air defenses, it did not achieve much success. This aircraft is renowned for its extreme durability, its ability to withstand direct hits from armor-piercing and high-explosive rounds up to 23 millimeters. It has backup hydraulic flight systems and a manual control system if the hydraulics fail. Even without hydraulic power, the A-10 can still be flown using manual controls, although it requires more effort. It's designed to keep flying even if it loses an engine, half its tail, one elevator, or half a wing. Because the A-10 flies close to enemy positions, it is vulnerable to man-portable air defense systems, surface-to-air missiles, and enemy aircraft. To protect itself, it carries flares and chaff cartridges. In 2003, during Operation Iraqi Freedom, an A-10 took heavy damage, including to its hydraulic system. But pilot Captain Kim Campbell, who was in the cockpit, managed to safely fly it back to base using manual controls. The cockpit and flight control systems are protected by 1,200 pounds of titanium armor, nicknamed the bathtub. This armor can withstand hits from 23mm cannon fire and some shrapnel from 57mm shells. It consists of titanium plates ranging from 0.5 to 1.5 inches thick and makes up nearly 6% of the A-10's empty weight. The interior surfaces facing the pilot are covered with a nylon shield to protect against shell fragments. The cockpit glass can resist small arms fire. The A-10 was designed to operate from forward air bases and makeshift runways, where engine damage from foreign objects is a risk. Its engines are mounted in a way that reduces the chance of intake damage and allows the engines to keep running while the aircraft is serviced and rearmed, speeding up turnaround time. The engines are mounted closer to the ground, making servicing easier. The heavy engines are supported by 4 bolts connecting them to the airframe. Their high bypass ratio reduces the aircraft's infrared signature, and the exhaust is directed over the tail to help protect it from infrared-guided missiles. To protect the fuel system from damage, all 4 fuel tanks are placed near the center of the aircraft and are separated from the fuselage. This means that projectiles would have to go through the aircraft's outer layer before hitting a fuel tank. If the fuel transfer lines are damaged, they seal themselves. If the damage is too severe for the self-sealing to work, check valves stop the fuel from flowing into the damaged tank. Most of the fuel system parts are inside the tanks, so if they fail, it won't cause a fuel leak. The refueling system is cleaned after each use. The fuel tanks are lined with reticulated polyurethane foam on both sides, which helps contain debris and limit fuel spills if the tanks are damaged. The engines are protected by firewalls and fire extinguishing systems. If all 4 main tanks are lost, there are 2 additional self-sealing tanks that hold enough fuel for 230 miles of flight. Since 2001, the A-10s have participated in the International Coalition operation in Afghanistan and, since 2003, in Operation Iraqi Freedom. In March and April 2003, a total of 60 A-10s were involved in combat operations, with 1 aircraft being shot down near Baghdad International Airport on April 7th. Another Thunderbolt, flown by Captain Kim Campbell, was severely damaged but managed to return safely to its airfield, once again proving its phenomenal survivability. In January 2005, an updated version of the A-10A, A-10C, appeared. The Precision Engagement Modification Program of the U.S. Army facilitated this update. A-10C introduced modern reconnaissance equipment, a satellite communication system, and a laser guidance system. The first A-10C entered service in 2006. The A-10's large wing allows it to carry a substantial array of weapons. With A-10C modification, the aircraft could fully utilize high-precision ammunition. The A-10C's weapons set includes 2 air-to-air guided missiles, 6 AGM-65 guided air-to-surface missiles, 4 Lao-61 Elo-68 unguided missile units, 6 Lao-10 unguided missile units, 24 Mk-82 high-explosive bombs, and 4 GBU-8 or GBU-10 guided bombs or 6 GBU-12 bombs. Other recent upgrades to the A-10 include the A-10C Precision Engagement, which introduced advanced avionics, GPS-guided weapons, and improved cockpit displays. The A-10 Thunderbolt Twill Upgrade Program, which enhances avionics, flight controls, and structural integrity, integration of new weapon systems and precision-guided munitions, updates to electronic systems and survival features to handle modern threats, ongoing maintenance and improvements to the TF-34 engines, and adaptation to newer technologies such as advanced targeting pods and communication systems, all of which work together to ensure the aircraft remains effective and relevant in contemporary combat scenarios. In 2014, it was decided to remove the A-10 from service. The aviation general suggested either cutting the A-10 or the F-16, but a competition for a new attack aircraft followed. As a result, it was decided that the A-10 would remain in service until 2028. Experts estimate its service life until 2028. However, the Pentagon plans to replace the A-10. Several potential replacement options for the A-10 Thunderbolt II are being considered, and they include the F-35, the F-16, the AC-130, and the MQ-9 Reaper. The F-35 Lightning II is a versatile fifth-generation stealth multi-role fighter that can perform close air support but comes with much higher operational costs. The F-16 Fighting Falcon, on the other hand, is renowned for its strong ground attack capabilities, could be adapted to fulfill some of the A-10's roles, although modifications would be needed. Moving on to a very important weapon, regarding how formidable the Warthog has demonstrated to be. Should it be sent to the war with Russia and Ukraine? It's no news that the Russians have strong air defenses, including S-300s, S-400s, S-350s, and Buk systems, which work effectively at altitudes of 100 meters and above. However, flying at low altitude can make the aircraft vulnerable to man-portable air defense systems like the American Stinger or Russian Igla. The A-10 Thunderbolt II has already demonstrated its survivability against such threats and, equipped with state-of-the-art infrared traps, will be difficult to hit. The potential deployment of the A-10 Thunderbolt II to Ukraine is under discussion due to its effectiveness in close air support roles, particularly in targeting tanks and armored vehicles, which is important given the significant number of Russian tanks and armored units involved in the conflict. The A-10 is highly valued for its durability and survivability, owing to its robust design and armor, which makes it a strong candidate for high-risk environments like Ukraine. The upgraded A-10C variant, equipped with modern systems such as satellite communications and precision-guided munitions, enhances its capabilities in contemporary warfare. Despite these advantages, the A-10 would face risks from advanced Russian air defense systems, though its low-altitude flight profile could help mitigate some of these threats. The debate also includes whether the cost-effective and specialized A-10 should be used in place of more modern and expensive aircraft like the F-35, given its proven performance and lower operational costs. Deploying the A-10 Warthog to Ukraine would encounter several challenges. The aircraft would need to operate in an environment protected by advanced Russian air defense systems, as well as man-portable air defense systems, posing significant risks despite the A-10's low-altitude flight profile. Operational costs and logistics would also be a concern, as maintaining and operating the A-10 involves significant expenses, including logistical support, maintenance, and training. Additionally, integrating the A-10 with existing Ukrainian forces would require careful coordination and adaptation of tactics to make effective use of its capabilities. Pilot training is another challenge, as Ukrainian pilots would need to learn to operate the A-10, which involves time and resources. Finally, political and strategic considerations must be taken into account, including potential reactions from Russia and the international community, as well as the risk of escalating the conflict. Thanks for watching. While you are still here, click on the link appearing on your screen to check out another of our videos. See you there.